Talk to me about why the Audi deal is so important to you guys.
Well, I mean, if you look at Audi, we have had a long relationship really with the car industry. Over 10 years, we've shipped over 340 million ASICs.
Right.
But the speed at which people are taking...
That would be chips, for those of you.
That's
certain
right.
kind of chip.
Different chips, exactly. And over a 10-year period. And it started off by getting the car connected. But it's accelerating not only through higher speeds, but more technology. And the Audi partnership is not just taking the modem, which is the part that connects the car, but also the part that the car, processes information and way it really interfaces with the consumer.
So basically an additional socket, if you would?
It is, but it's more technology in the car. And the car is really becoming, in many respects, a smartphone driving experience. It's a smartphone on wheels almost. And now they're absorbing more and more technology from the smartphone. And Audi obviously has been an innovator, and we're happy to be working with them.
And you took that business away from NVIDIA. Do you see more market share gains for you in this arena of automobiles?
Well, the automobile for us is going to be a growth vector. We think that our blend of technologies that we can provide in a smartphone type form factor is really going to be important to the car manufacturers. And the car manufacturers are becoming very much like the cloud providers. I mean, they generate so much data.
Oh, yeah.
For example, if I had information on your wireless or your intermittent window wiper washers, those things.
Right.
There's so much data that I can get off that information. That's why you see the car companies and the cloud providers tying up. But for us, we connect all the cars, and we invent the technologies that enable that to occur, and so that trend is very good for our business.
I think it's also why you see the car companies struggling with deciding whether or not they want to allow Android into the car, whether they want to allow the Apple car product into the car, or they maintain their own map systems, as we saw with the German automakers buying the Nokia business, because they want to keep that data themselves and try to monetize it.
I think anytime you have innovation occurring at a fast rate, you have a lot of different parties in there working on it. That's always been a good trend for us, and we try to make that easy for these companies to take advantage of that technology.
If we look at a Qualcomm 5-10 years from now, what percentage of the business might be cars, and from a top-line revenue standpoint?
Well, if you look at our business, the smartphone business will continue to be a strong business, but it's slowing down. But we can take the same technology and to play that into new markets. And when we look at those businesses, it actually doubles the available market over the next 5 years. When you look at all of the things that are on the show floor,
not just cars.
Not just cars, but if you take cars, you take the home, you take what's happening in smart cities, automotive, healthcare, all of these things that are happening on the show floor, those are new sockets for us, new opportunity for us to deploy Qualcomm technology, and that doubles our available market.
I think that I'm going to come to hate the phrase Internet of Things, so I thank you for not using it. I don't hate it yet, but I wonder when you look at that business, how you imagine that working with what Qualcomm does, and what can Qualcomm do that's special in IoT?
Well, today we're already a big player. We ship over 100 million chips into that area. What people forget is that it's very diverse, so you have to enable a number of different partners, not just one like you might do in a smartphone case. But what's happening is they are absorbing many different technologies. Drones, or even your thermostat now has a number of different technologies that 10 years ago or 5 years ago would have only been in the phone space. That accelerates the rate of innovation that occurs in the home and all these different markets, and I think you're seeing that on the show floor now.
You guys in the last couple of years have had difficulty protecting your intellectual property in China. You seem to have turned a corner there. Do you think you're stronger than you were 2 years ago, or back to where you were 2 years ago?
Well, we had to, over the last 2 years, really adapt our business practices in China, and we reached agreement with the Chinese government.
What does that mean, adapt our business practices?
Well, we had an investigation on our practices, and we resolved that through a resolution that we announced right about a year ago.
Right.
And now we're in the process of rolling that out with our licensees, or our end customers. And that seems to be building momentum. We signed up 4 different licensees in the month of December. And we're pleased to see that moving in the right direction. Still work to be done, but it seems like we're building momentum.
So 4 licensees in December, that's significant progress, depending on, of course, on how big those licensees are, I suppose.
That's right.
Finally, in the mobile chip business, there was a time when you guys were putting out chips that no one could equal, and I'm sure you would argue that you're still doing that. But there's a level of commoditization in mobile phones that wasn't there 5 years ago. Are we getting close to the time when chips and phones are commoditized?
Well, it depends on which price tier. For the entry-level phone, it's very competitive. There are more providers. But for the mid-tier and the high-tier phones, it tends to still be a very technology-driven business. For example, our 820, which is our flagship product, we have over 80 different design wins. It significantly raises the bar from last year's product. And I think that continues to be the benchmark that people need to strive for. And we have strong customer traction to prove it.